Hello, everybody. Welcome. And we have with me today, I'm Howie, by the way, and we have Buddy with us. We have Boston John with us. We have Swinging Jay from Temecula with us, and the one and only Mr. Brian S. Red. So, this will be a hallway talk tonight, which seems to go over really well. Like, as you know, I do look at the comments to see if they have something, questions or whatever. And the last one I saw was, "You guys are awesome. I'm taking notes." So thank you all on the panel. Thank you so much. I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, we get a lot of those. And like, I'm taking notes. You guys are funny, but you dropped gold stuff here. And I think there's going to be a little bit of gold here tonight because I'm going to ask a question and then we're going to open it up and just have like a hallway talk. People seem to love those shows and they get very high ratings. So here is the question I'm going to ask because I saw this believe it was yesterday on the social media, and a fellow was asked to provide insurance at a high school prom or dance or whatever for, never heard this before, serious as I could be, for molestation and misbehavior between him and the students. They wanted an extra $3 million insurance policy. My first thought was, hey, look me up. I have an FBI clearance. I have a record. It only costs $15 to look somebody up. So, Buddy, let's go to you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing first is, what the way I look at it is, what is the cost of the insurance? And every state's different. So, states required special insurance for schools, some don't. And then the other thing is how much you get paid. If you're making enough money to cover that insurance and you have a good relationship with your insurance agent, then you can call them and say, hey, I have a question for you. Such and such school system is asking for this insurance coverage. What is the cost? What do I need to do? And if it's not really prohibitive and price wise, I would say go ahead and do it. And again, some school districts require like you have your background check from the FBI when you get previous life and stuff like that. I mean, it's businesses you work for. A lot of people out here have background checks, and I would say, sometimes schools require that too, and that could be one of the things. But I would talk to an insurance agent. That would be my first phone call and find out more from them for each state, because each state's different, and what happens here in Illinois could be different from the state that person's from, and it may be different requirements.
Wise advice. Okay, I'm going to go right around and I'll go to John. John, what are your thoughts on this weird thing?
That is kind of weird. I don't know if they'd be more interested if it's your background. It's, what kind of crowd is coming to this party that's even a concern. I mean, clubs and bars are open to the public. They have, insurance and protection for events of unusual natures. But as a personal business, I've never been asked to step up and have something that large or have that in writing. It'd be interesting to see how you go about. I think you can pull like a 1 million policy here in Mass, at least anyway, for something just under $100 for the day. You get the one event. If you just want to do a single serving type deal. But I wouldn't even, I could triple. It would have to be probably 3 times as much. I'd have to, not familiar.
I was baffled by the wording of that. It was very specific about molestation or, assault on the students. So, now, as before we went on air, I said, I want to save Jay for last because I know what his answer is going to be. So, Brian, what's your take on something? Like, you ever run into anything weird like that?
I don't even know if a policy like that exists. Do you?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, wow, good point.
I mean, when I saw the post that you're talking about, and
Oh, you
my
did?
first,
Okay.
yeah, I saw it, but I didn't
Yeah,
even
isn't
reply
that
to it
weird?
because it sounded like BS.
It did.
I'm like, what are you talking about? How can you insure against your conduct? But what is that? I don't know what that is. I personally wouldn't work with them. It would be
Right.
interesting to find out who's asking for this. Is it
Mm-hmm.
somebody on the committee? Is it the district who is asking for this?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know where I can purchase this? And also, you will be compensating me for however much it costs me to do this because it's the price of doing business. You know,
Mm.
so I don't know. That's too bizarre. I
Yeah.
don't like to work with anyone who doesn't trust me. You got to have trust.
Right.
Liability insurance is one thing. Understand things happen, people get hurt, but
Mm-hmm.
misconduct and molestation, what the hell is that? And how can you insure against that? And who would bond you? That doesn't even sound like a
Well,
real thing.
you
And
know
if it
that
is, I'm sorry. I apologize.
that's a good point, though. I mean, not only would you have to be insured, but you'd have to be bonded, I guess, for something like that,
If
right?
someone was going to insure you against you doing anything wrong, they would have to really make sure that you're not going to do anything wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
I
mean,
didn't think
usually the
of
police do that. If you do something wrong, they arrest you.
that.
So
Yeah,
I don't know how you can insure against it. It doesn't make sense to me.
I
It
don't know.
sounds ludicrous. And
It does.
and clients will ask, and this is just a thing that I've discovered in my way too many years of doing this. People ask for things until you tell them no. They will not stop asking for things until you tell them no. And if you just say yes to everything, they're going to keep asking for things and keep asking for things. You either have to say no or say, sure, no problem. Happy to do it for you, but I need you to do this for me. Compensate me for the money, do this, do that. And then, oh, you know what? It's not that important anymore. It goes there for like almost anything anybody wants.
Mm.
Oh, we want you to do multiple setups. Okay, sure, no problem. Happy to do it for you, but I need you to do something for me. I need a licensed electrician to come in and make sure that that wall has adequate power to test it. And I'm going to need to fully insure people from the venue to help me move the stuff over because I can't just have anybody do it. They need to be insured. And just go on and on and on with this. Oh, you know what? It's not that important. You don't need to move.
You're going to talk them out of it. That's great. I love it.
There's certain clients who will not stop asking for things until you tell them no, or tell them it's going to cost them something, and then they don't want it anymore.
Right.
So I don't know what my thoughts are on that. It sounds like some fantasy land insurance policy that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And did the district ask for this? Did some mom make this up and just want some
Right.
insurance on this? Who's on the board? Who asked for it? And what is it? Has anybody provided a website or any information on this stuff?
And I've never heard of it before at all. So,
Yeah, it sounded like a bunch of crap to me. Why didn't even pay attention to the post?
Jay, you've said this before. What happened when they wanted you to get extra insurance for a high school type thing?
Well, I agree with everything that's been said. And I think it's made up because you'd have to do a full background check, but you're also getting insurance, like liability. You're insuring that if something happens. And I can't imagine a company would look you in the eye and say, we'll insure that if you decide to touch somebody, we'll pay. It just sounds like fake.
It almost sounds like entrapment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just sounds
Like,
insane.
oh, you touched me. No, I didn't. Well, you did.
Exactly. Well, there's insurance to go after. So I agree with Brian. I think a mom in the committee may have said, well, make sure you insure them against touching children. Like, it just sounds way too made up from a parent's scared mind. But I did an event last year. And in California, you need to carry a $3 million policy to do schools. It's a kind of written in stone deal with any of the schools. Your insurance, it's got to be $3 million. I carry the typical DJ $1 million, $2 million aggregate. I called my insurance company in the Midwest and said, hey, can I get a 1 day or how much to up my insurance policy? And the up to $3 million from $1 million was $1,500. They didn't offer it on a 1 day deal. It was annual. Because again, they're going to make money. So realizing that wasn't going to work for me, I called the school and I said, hey, you know what?
I don't think I'm the right DJ. I can't get $3 million. It's $1,500. You're only paying me $1,200. This is just, she goes, well, let me call my friend. He does insurance. And 20 minutes later, I get a phone call saying, yeah, call this guy, Rob. He'll give you a $3 million policy for one day. Very specific, the address, the school, what I'm doing, all the parameters. And it's $203 for one day. And I said, oh, okay. Can I charge you for it? And she goes, oh, absolutely. So they're very nice about it. But I know in California, and I'm sure every state within reason, you can find an insurance agent that will give you a one-day liability policy for something big. For example, we have SeaWorld. SeaWorld's owned by Anheuser-Busch. I went to drive into SeaWorld, and when I was stopped, they said, do you have proof of commercial car insurance on the vehicle? Wow. And I said, no, I don't have commercial insurance on the vehicle. Okay, you just have to park right on this side of the gate and then walk over. Okay, they knew I had liability, but they didn't ask me about commercial. Their deal, and it makes sense, is they don't want you driving onto their property, hitting a little kid, and then putting their money at risk. So, you know, we've had the insurance talk before. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'd be happy to, at some point, get the name and post it somewhere and just say, you know, Acme Insurance of California, who, if you were to call them and say, hi, I'm in Illinois, I'm in Minnesota, I'm wherever, do you have a subsidiary or another agent out here? I'm sure they could hook you up for one day. But like I said, with schools, it's been my experience that they're pretty hard and fast. In California, they want $3 million. And when I called a couple of school DJs, they said, oh yeah, I carry $4 million just for that reason. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, I pay almost $2,000 a year for it.
Whoa.
I'm like, seriously? They're like, well, their attitude is this: they're shooting after the school market. They use trussing at dances, but they're also charging 20, 30 grand an event. Oh. So if you're making that on a prom and you're doing 30, 40 proms a year, do you really care? It costs you $2,000 for insurance? And his attitude was, they asked for 3. He went for 4 because he wanted to show that he was above and beyond the competition. I can't fault the guy for that. Makes sense to me. But, you know, I have to agree with Brian, and I think John on this one, and I think even Buddy on this one. Until I look on Google, is there such a thing as molestation liability insurance? I'm going to have to call BS on it. I think so too. And I think the point of the question from you, Howie, is to get DJs to think. Some of your clients, most of your clients, don't do events. You know, I'm in a hotel room and I'm DJing for 3 hours tonight, and this hotel costs half of what my weddings cost. That's this client. They get it. There's a 1,000-person event, and there are 5 box trucks. It looks like Aerosmith showing up. But I've also done events for nearly as many, and there's a golf cart, an old JBL speaker, and a broken SM58. So every event's different. Understand your clients don't know what you do sometimes. And if you explain to them, this is the insurance I present. My fear would be, you know, it's very easy to say, oh, I wouldn't do the event. My fear would be, by saying no to the event immediately, you're kind of saying you can't get that. You're sort of saying to them, I wouldn't pass the test, so I'm going to bow out. Even though you and I know you didn't say that, but it would be in someone's head if you said, oh, molestation insurance, you know what, this isn't the right fit for me. Oh, okay, so you must have molested somebody and you don't want us to know about it.
Whoa.
That's the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, if they said to you, by the way, you have to pass a drug test 5 days out, I would take the gig. You would take the gig.
Sure.
Everyone in the room would take the gig. But we all know there's a lot of DJs who might say, you know what? I would. I'll skip that. It doesn't make them bad people, but it just gives the impression of, you know, I asked you for something you may not be able to deliver. Difficult to bow out without looking bad. I'd almost lie and say, you know what? I'm so sorry. I just realized I'm having surgery that day for a molestation issue I have, and I just need to get that taken care of first.
Couldn't you just say, I have never heard of such a thing. Let me check with my insurance agent.
Look into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's probably the best answer you could give. And then when you find out it doesn't exist, come back and just say, I've had the same insurance company for 10 years and they're a nationwide policy issuer. They don't carry something like that. So if you want to point me in the direction.
Yeah. Do you have some information on
Point of contact? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get bonded for this? Then
They said this doesn't really exist in our industry. I don't know that much about the educational background process. I know that once a week I turn on the news and another coach or teacher gets busted.
and they're not insured or bonded.
I
So
was going to say, like, you
That's
didn't
true.
do a background check on the girls' soccer
it
coach.
sounds made up, man.
So what are you going to do with me as the DJ standing behind the booth, rocking the crowd for 2 hours?
That's why I left the post alone. It just sounded.
That sounds like clickbait.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that was my first instinct too. So I didn't make a comment. I was like, it sounds like somebody wanting attention almost.
It's like, hey, I need insurance against you sucking. Do you suck DJ insurance?
Well, I think I told you guys for about 15 years I've worked for a federal judge and her husband who used to be a U.S. attorney, and he is an attorney. And every year I would ask her some lame, legal question like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about... And one year I remember distinctly saying to her, hey, judge, quick legal question. She's like, go ahead, Jay. What is it this year? I go, if somebody falls down and gets hurt at my wedding, can they sue me? She's like, yep. I'm like, excuse me? She's like, they're going to sue you, the dance floor people, the shoe manufacturer,
I just sue Coke because that's what was on the floor she slipped on.
Yeah,
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
I mean, yeah.
She made a statement that really took me away. She said,
Right.
this is why you carry insurance. Your insurance company will go to bat for you. Your insurance company will take the brunt of it or pay off something or not pay off something. And when it gets to the court, a judge is there to look at it and say, this is ridiculous. She did 7 shots of Jaeger. You left your crutches at the table. And now you're claiming that you fell because Jay was playing a disco song.
Yeah, they litigate it for
They throw the case out.
to absorb that stuff.
The downside of our system is it's very litigious and you can sue for pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I think in my contract now, the new clause is you can only collect damages equal to that of the charge of the event. It's some weird wording I got from a lawyer who's like, you can't
No more
sue
than
me.
the agreed price of.
Right, because you can't sue
Right.
me for $3 million because your wedding sucked and
Right.
say all the money it cost to fly people in.
No more than the. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, everyone watching, it varies from state to state.
And I'm not a lawyer. This
There
is
may
not
be
legal
some-
advice.
there might be-
binding.
There might be a state in the Appalachians that, require that sort of thing.
Yeah, if your sister doesn't dance with you at the wedding, you can divorce her or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are.
If your sister doesn't have your eyes, your sister's family doesn't have your eyes. Then you can
Right.
Exactly.
collect money for this. It just sounds dumb.
Sounds dumb.
So you know what?
I know we're all going to Google this.
Hi, Karen. It's Brian the DJ. I contacted Lloyd's of London, and they said that they do it for $75,000 for 3
Well, they'll insure anything. Yeah.
They insure legs of celebrities. They'll insure.
Oh, yeah.
Guarantee. I guarantee
true.
there's a price.
Right?
I'm going to need a bank check for that.
Yeah. All right. Let's
How bad do you need the gig too?
let's let this go then. And what do you guys want to talk about? Hallway talk. What's up? What's going on? Where are you at, Jay?
I'm at a gig, and I think my cool hallway talk thing is I tried to talk the agent out of my hotel room because I'm so used to doing a gig and driving home. I'm 88 miles from home. I left my house at 2:30. I got here at 4:30. I set up. I don't have anything to do until the gig starts at 9:30, and I'm in a very nice hotel room. Now, if I had kissed the hotel room goodbye, I still would have left at 2:30 due to traffic, and I'd be walking around for 5 hours with nothing to do. And you can argue, yeah, but you're there so early, it's going to break your hourly. I know that, but here's the catch: my gig ends at 12:30. I have to strike at 12:30. Let's say it takes 20 minutes. I then have to wheel through the lobby, go to valet, get my car, load my car, have valet park my car, And by the way, I'm on a gated property. So even to get in here, I had to go through a gate and security. So it's not the kind of place I'm really anxious about gear being in the car. It's quite the other extreme where you're like, whatever. But you know what? Smartest move I made was just to go with the flow and accept, because the room doesn't affect my price. But it's the smartest thing I've done in a long time, because I guarantee by 2:00 in the morning, I was up at 6 this morning. Am I really going to be in a shape to drive for an hour and a half, 2 hours when every drunk in the world is on the road? So if you're dealing with a client and it's later than, let's say, midnight, let's use that as the cap, or you're more than 75 miles away, you know what? Throw the hotel room thing out there. Because I was shocked. They were like, yeah, we'll give them a room, no problem. And this is a very expensive room. But I think if you just simply say to somebody, you know what? I've got an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. I mean, you guys in the Midwest, I hear horror stories. You guys driving through the tri-state area for 3 hours in each direction. I mean, that means you're leaving your house at noon, getting home at 4:35 in the morning.
The problem I have with hotel rooms, really, is that you go to the hotel room, you check in, and by the time you're done and you're packed up and everything, what is it, 1:30 in the morning?
Right.
And then you're sitting there saying to yourself, if I get to sleep right now, I can get a full 8 hours, get up, shower, and get out of here. And then 5 hours later, if I can get to sleep and then right now I'll have 2 hours of sleep. You end up laying there all night, and by the time you can get to sleep, you're saying, you know what? If I didn't have this damn room in the first place, I've been home already. This is dumb. Yeah. And now I have to check out by 10.
Yep, I'm sure he's just going to come knocking. Yep.
Yeah, no, I don't understand that. But
I'll sleep at the rest stop before I sleep at a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's valid. But, and I don't get these very often. This is, it's been a couple of years since they were like, we'll get you a room.
Yeah.
And it was in San Diego, downtown, no less. But it was the GM of the hotel that I did her wedding. And she's like, I'm giving you a room. I'm like, cool.
How far away from
French on me and all that. But, for me personally, looking back on it, yeah. Could I finish the gig tonight at 12:30 and drive home? 100%.
Right.
100%. I actually contemplated driving home anyway, even with the room, because it's no loss to me.
Now you can chill out before the gig. That's nice.
Well, how far away from home are you?
98 miles.
An hour and a half or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah, hour and a half at the most. Yeah.
So let's say I'm out by 1, I'm home by 2:30. Let's say some traffic for some BS construction. 3:00 in the morning, I'm home.
Sleep in your own bed.
But here's the catch-22. I know what happens at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning in my house. Every alarm in the house starts going off. And as much as my wife is going to be nice to me, it's going to be, you're taking Colin to school, right? Yeah. And next thing you know is I'm up at 8:30 and now the dog needs a walk and I'm right back in it. And
So you're trying to escape home life by staying in this hotel.
You get a dog walking past.
You know what, Jay? That does make a lot of sense.
Just the hell away from everybody. I'll just stay here.
We just don't have good rest areas out here. I don't even think we have rest areas out here, do we? No.
You got Walmarts. You got
No kidding.
gas stations. It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Right.
My gosh.
Where were you? I was at the Terranea Resort tonight. Yeah, sure you were. Get in the back of the cruiser. What? I don't understand.
Wow, in the Northeast here, we have rest areas every half hour or an hour.
No, not here. Out in Vegas, towards Vegas, you do. Like in California, but for north on the 15. But the general LA type area, dude, they're breaking into everything out here. There's no safety anywhere. The last thing you want is to be at a rest area. But yeah, it's weird.
You should get in Chicago where it's safe.
Yeah, there you go. You won't get shot. But just like Brian was saying about clients keep asking for stuff, well, maybe it's time DJs did too.
Yeah.
Asking for a meal. Like the company I'm working for, if you work more than 4 hours, you get food. And if they don't give you food, it's in their contract. They will order you food. I'm like, I don't need anything. I'm fine. No. You get a meal. And they're and he made a great statement. He's like, if you start turning things down, they'll turn them down. So it's like, once you get up that hill, don't take a step backwards. Keep working forward. Mm-hmm. So I take the meal. It's that salad. You know, you guys, I saw that video I put up on VA House Arena, that big basketball arena. They gave me my own green room with a shower and everything. I was like, what am I supposed to say? No, I'll go sit in the Jeep.
Pick your battles.
Yeah.
Pick your battles. What's going on with the rest of you guys?
I get a gig tomorrow night. I'm going out to do trivia for the first time.
Oh, well,
Web-based, so everyone can play on their phones for a couple hours.
Mhm.
It's a nice early one. The other one, Stones in Stone.
Oh, Stones.
So it's like 6:30 to 8:30, and then done. A couple of speakers, microphone. Just I give that a shot. I've never really done anything on that hosting style. I did karaoke once or twice before, but this is, it's a lot of talking, a lot of reading the questions, but it's 3 20-minute sections and done. So that's just going to be fun for a Tuesday.
I'm interested to see how it goes for you, John. I've never done that either.
Yeah, I've never done one.
And I know it's a big thing with a lot of DJ companies. Like, people are doing it 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they make, but even if it's $200 a night,
It was
50 grand a year.
it was designed for the dead nights. Dead nights when you get nothing going on. It's it's not stepping on your Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it's a little extra gravy, which is nice. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow night how that went. We'll put it on the next show.
The way they do it around here, at least in Jersey, it's only 2 hours of trivia for $150. That's like all you're doing is going in using the house system, and you bring an iPad or a phone or even a laptop. And
Right, it's during dinner, so it's not really going to interfere. It's not enough to about dance crowd or anything like that. It's just an easy night. So looking forward to that. It should be fun.
They get very competitive, even with the names of their teams. I mean, it's weird, But, like Jay said, hey, you add it up over the year, and that's, now it all adds up. So, buddy, you have any final thoughts or anything here before we put a fork in this?
I think one of the things is also having relationships with people who are not DJs. I just ran into it this past weekend. Something I don't normally do. A event planner that knows us for weddings got a hold of me because her daughter is in a cheerleading unit, and their cheer team had a event this past Saturday. And the DJ they hired called them up basically Saturday morning and said, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it," and backed out of them that morning. And she texted me late Saturday morning asking if I'm available. She goes, "I know you don't normally do this, but I need a hand." And I'm like, "Yeah, not a problem." And, it wasn't a high paying, gig. And, dealing with 4 hours with seven to young teenagers screeching top of their lungs Taylor Swift for 4 hours. I'm like, okay, fine, great. No big deal. But to me, it's a great thing. I get to help someone and reinforce that relationship with someone. I think building relationships to people, not just other DJ photographers, it's a nice thing to have, because if they're there and you're a ally with them and a friend of theirs, and if they need something, they're coming to you as a professional and asking you, "Hey, I need this and that." And that's how you can not only get more gigs, but I also feel it also helps out, because I didn't care about the money, but I felt good helping out this little team of girls, because that way they got to have fun and enjoy themselves before they went on a trip, and they weren't disappointed by not having someone there to make them have fun and dance and sing and so forth.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. Yeah, it always feels good to help.
You needed the insurance for?
Oh no!
I need insurance for it.
Double background.
Look at Jay doing a callback. He's a comedy routine.
They didn't need a $3 million policy, and they were all cool.
So. Matt's messaging on Facebook told me like it's a real thing, but it just sounds weirder than hell to me.
What, you did find something?
Matt's saying that it is. I don't know. I glanced at it. SAM coverage, sexual abuse and molestation insurance coverage, is often also referred to as sexual molestation liability. SML insurance coverage, sexual molestation liability insurance, can provide protection for claims of sexual abuse made against a policyholder and a policyholder's employees. I don't know where he pulled this from.
I wouldn't do the gig just for the sheer fact that my name got on an insurance policy for sexual molestation. I wouldn't want that near me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a bad stink.
That's the kind of thing that's like, why did you take out this insurance policy once? What do you mean?
Why can have any
Why
insurance
do you
policy they want if they pay for it?
Right. Yeah.
And then you're going to compensate me for my time for running around trying to do this. My fee is this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep track of my hours.
Wow. Thank you for looking that up.
Well, I didn't look it up. Matt did, but I'd never heard of such thing. It sounds weird as hell to me. I don't know anybody can bond anybody on this, but I'm not an insurance guy. I don't know. Be a wavy davy on this one.
And I would point to that and be like, I have a DOJ.
Yes, that's all.
I passed that background, but you know,
Yeah.
like I said, if you want me to carry that insurance because I'm going to DJ, maybe you ought to make your teachers and coaches carry it because they're the ones that
Right.
on the news.
Yeah, they're right. Exactly.
We just had a guy today get busted, a middle school soccer coach got arrested for inappropriate touching and whatever with the girls. And it's like, it's a 35-year-old man. It's like, you're worried about me DJing your party?
And they
dude.
chaperones at the prom.
Hired.
Right.
There's so many teachers in the high school that I went to who got in trouble for help with kids. And like my kids tell me about problems that their teachers have had. Especially Eris, he's got all kinds of stories about teachers that had relationships with students and one got pregnant by his student and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, it's like, holy. Yeah, no.
Well, with that, we're gonna end this, and as always, it's always different in every state. So if you get something odd like that, question the
Make them
source
pay for it.
and make them pay for it. But then also, if you're gonna take it, contact your local insurance company and see if they've even ever heard of such a thing. So with that, gentlemen, I know you've all been very, very busy. I really appreciate you coming in tonight. And with that, we are going to good
Thanks.
night.
Thanks for our sponsors, DJ Event Planner.
Oh, yes, we forgot to mention DJ Event